Thanks for joining this week on DesignWorks TV. This video is designed for new users of DesignWorks for Autodesk Inventor, featuring the roamer arm. You'll notice some new ribbons have been added to Autodesk Inventor. And the first one I'll talk about is the DesignWorks tool for probing. There are other tabs for later on in other videos for scanning and inspection. The ribbon looks and feels just like the ribbon you're used to use for like 3D modeling and sketching. The only difference, this is to be used when you use the roamer device. There are some chances here for some options. You go into options and select your device. In this case, it's the roamer RDS. And you have advanced for where you want to place files, as well as sounds and the UI. We're first going to talk about setup for the roamer. Once you've installed DesignWorks, you do need to go in and go to DesignWorks options where we're just at and select the device. But you also need to go make sure RDS is set up properly. So we're going to go down here in the lower right corner of the screen and select the little icon here for going to RDS. In this case, we're using the absolute arm with the AS1. So we're going to take a look at first the settings for this. Hit the control panel. And to do this, you would normally do this outside of Inventor and DesignWorks the first time to make sure your connection things are correct. And you also would contact Hexagon Metrology if your device isn't connected. So you've got a summary of what's going on. Connection's very important. Which device do you have? In this case, we have the RA8 and we're using a wired, but you have the options for Wi-Fi as well. If you're an older device, you'll have an RA7 or a multi-gauge or even a Leica. So this would have to be set up first. And for now, they are going to use an IP address. We're being told that this will pick up automatically. For now, you do need an IP address. But for best practices, if this isn't connected, contact Hexagon Metrology. So under general parameters, once it's connected, you have your language, your probe, your name should show up. Smart, it's up to you if you leave it on or not to transmit data. Here's your connectivity. Again, it's up to you if you want to disable this. Some of the big things is this, advanced settings. Make sure all these check boxes are unchecked. You do not want to manage long press, remote mouse, and haptic. Most people don't want the haptic feedback. So again, make sure they're all disabled. Under features, it just tells you your name and about. So the biggest thing in here is once you have it connected is under advanced. Again, can't say enough. Make sure these are changed to unselected. And then you can do a quit. And then depending up here, if you want to hide this or leave it present, I'm going to hide it. So now that this is connected, you notice on the right side of the screen, there's a digital readout box. This tells you your probe and the amount of points and things you're taking. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and go through this part and go through a lot of the features of the DesignWorks probing module. To get started, you're going to expand the origin, and we're going to do an alignment on this part. We're going to select the XY plane. That's mostly selected and suggested you use. Then you come up here and you use the alignment wizard. And you have a little dialog box. In this case, you don't see a lot of graphics on the screen. It first wants you to take a minimum of 3 points. Now, they can be taken by 1, 2, you can go straight up, and 4 if you want. You need a minimum of 3. The reason why you take in this order is compensation for the ball. So let's take the device. In this case, it's a 8-axis with the laser and the probe. The trigger button captures data. The little button right here, slide it to the right, completes it. So we need at least 3 points for a plane. So we're going to hold in this case, we're going to say the table is going to be the plane. Hold the probe against the table, tap the trigger, you hear a click. Move it to the X positive like it says on the screen. You can go straight up if you want, Y positive. That's 3. If you wanted 4, just go back over towards the left. So you've tapped the trigger. To complete it, there's a little button underneath here. Slide it to the right and hold it. You'll have a little ding. It completes it. So that was the plane. Now it needs to know where is the X positive, Y, and origin. So we're going to use a part as alignment. We're going to leave it on the point location for now. And on the screen, that cannot be changed with the mouse. It's going to be changed by the buttons on the device. We're going to say X is across here. We're going to hold the probe against his face, tap the trigger. Everything's projected down to here automatically. Don't matter where you hold this. X positive. I'm going to hold in space for Y. Now, for an origin, you also want to have either like an edge, circle, or something. You don't want just a point in space because we save this. I'm going to press this to the side and hold it, and then you tap it. So you can see on the screen, circle center, probe sphere, edge. In this case, we're going to use edge. It'll close in about 2 seconds. So in this case, we want this edge to be 0, 0, 0. You're going to go in a counterclockwise format. Take 2 points here, 2 points here. If you wanted this edge, you'd take 2 points on this face, 2 points in this face. You're always going in a counterclockwise location. So we're going to hold the probe against here, tap the trigger. You're going to click, tap it again. Take these 2 points, tap, tap. Then press and hold the button underneath this little area here. And wait a couple seconds, and then do it again. It's completed. You're now in the XY plane with a sketch. Now this axis can be turned off under options. We just loaded Inventor 2023, so it's left on, but you can turn this off. So DesignWorks 2022 is compatible with Autodesk Inventor 2018 through 2023. So to get started, you could select the ribbon and use the mouse and select all these. Most people don't. It's all done from the device. So that little button underneath here, you'll press it and hold it to the right. And then you tap it to go through the commands. So what we want is a line. So you'll notice when you go to the line tool, first time you use it, you can actually slide this around. So for creating a line, the compensation is on manual. All the data has been taken to the center. You can add a relationship if you want, horizontal, vertical, or fixed. And you also can use an extension if you want. For now, we're going to leave that alone. So to build this, you would draw this exactly the same way you would use Inventor. You would sketch around it and do an extrude. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to hold the probe against the side. Everything's projected down to that plane. And we're going to tap the trigger. You need at least 2 points. So you can take more than 2, and you can even drag it. And then you're going to pull away from the data, not up, pull away, then slide that little button underneath there to the right. Okay? We're going to zoom out so you can see this. And if the axis is annoying, you can go and turn that off. It's actually under application options. And it's under the sketch right here. Grid lines and axis. Okay? You can turn these off. And say apply or OK. Now it's turned off. So you know how to do that because it can be annoying. So we'll go back into a sketch. It's there like you do with the Inventor every day and say edit sketch. At that point, if you wanted to go the ribbon, you could. In this case, I'll leave it there, but you're going to use the button on the arm to the right. Tap it to the right and hold it. You hear a click. Now you're in probe mode again. So we'll come up here, take some points. Again, you're going to pull away, not up. Slide that button to the right. And with that axis and stuff off, you can zoom in and see this a lot better. We're going to go ahead and do all the lines first. So again, you can go really fast as you get used to this. Tap, tap, tap. Pull away. Push, press and hold that button to the right side. There you have your sketch. Now, we do need to have that top piece. Let's assume it's an arc. We're going to, again, press and hold that button to the right. Tap it then, once you hear it click, and go to the arc. So an arc, you have kind of different comp. And if this is the first time you've used it, slide it to where you want it. These will stay modal. So on an arc, you have different compensation, boss and hole. In this case, this is a boss. And you do have constraints, fixed or construction. So again, you're going to hold the probe against it, tap the trigger. If you have a now without a handle, I believe it's the middle button. Pull away. You don't have to pull away. You can move the arm wherever you want because it comps on boss, and it does a compensation for you. So that command has boss and hole. You don't pull away. So you would just close that, right click, and go into your trim, and you have to say extend in Inventor. And we'll just extend these. Just like you would do every day with Inventor. At this point, Inventor has no idea you did this with a device. This can be passed on to anybody you want. We'll go up and trim this now. Now we need to know the height, just the way you would work in Inventor. Since I'm sitting here now, I got the arm on the home page. DesignWorks. I'm going to tell it to do an extrude. So you take the device and you hold it on the part. Now notice I'm holding this about on a 45. You can be from about 10 degrees to 90. What you don't want to do is called hooking the probe, where it's pointing back at the screen, like you're pointing like this. So you're holding the probe like this, anywhere from 90 to 10 degrees. You don't want it parallel. You don't want it like that. So 10 degrees and 90, tap the trigger, then press that button underneath to the right and hold it. You're going to see a new pop-up. It's the extrude command for Inventor. It goes right into it. At this point, you could turn this or whatever you want to do so you can see it. It takes the value you used and pushes it in here and select OK. So it's probably a good place to probably save your part. We'll save it. And we'll do some more. So as you can see, this flows exactly the way you use Inventor. So to work on this like normal Inventor, you just pick a face and you tell it to start a sketch. Same way. Only we're going to use from the arm. We're going to slide that button to the right, tap it. I'm going to do some circles. In this case, I'm going to slide this where I want it. Compensation. Those are holes. Okay. Again, you have fixed or construction. Now, the mathematics in here, you can take more than 3 points. You can actually drag it and overlap, forwards, backwards, doesn't care. Okay? Then you push that button to the right to finish it. Again, we'll repeat it. All you have to do is hold the probe against it and build all your holes. So this uses best fit mathematical algorithms. So once you have that, you can do this 2 different ways. In this case, I know I want through all. So you could actually do this. Come up to Inventor, 3D model, extrude, and I want to do a cut. Move the mouse down here to one of these, or actually it'll find them. Just like you do if you drew this. Okay? And you could tell it through all or whatever you want to do. Okay. Now, we didn't add any dimensions to those. What if you wanted to do that? Here's all your features, just like you would do normal Inventor. Edit sketch. Come in here. If you want to add a dimension, you can do it during it or after. Make them all equal. Again, at this point, Inventor has no idea this was done with an external device. So if you want to pass this to somebody else to work on, you can. Let's talk about some primitives. Under the DesignWorks tab for probing, here's our primitive group. So let's talk about the cone. There's a cone on that part. If you had to do this manually, you have to come over here and make a circle. Then you would have to put an axis there, drag 2 planes, use lock plane to get the cross section and do a revolve. So let's show you how fast this is. Probe cone. Now, if you want to reference, and you do, and this is where a lot of other people's products don't work correctly, what's a reference plane? I want this face. If you don't pick that face or the face you're going to work on, that cone could be tilted. So what it wants you to do is take some points on the cone. Once you do that, you take a point at the bottom, you pull away and tap the button. That's tilt to base. Then you take a point on the top, you pull away and press the button. That finishes it and does the compensation. So let's do that. But again, don't forget to pick the constraint reference plane, or your cone could be tilted. So we're going to take the roller arm, come over here. We're going to take some points. The order doesn't matter. Just make sure you try to get 360 degrees to get a best fit. Okay. Now, like the instruction says, where's the bottom? Hold the probe at the bottom of this. Tap the trigger. Pull up a little bit. Don't pull past the height. You'll confuse it. So we define the bottom. Pull up, half the distance. Tap the button. Define the top. Hold on the top. Pull away. Okay. Now you're going to take the button underneath here and slide it to the right and hold it. It's going to build your cone. So now you have a cone that's fully compensated and perpendicular to that face. You don't have to go back there and constrain and do all that. Actually, the probe cylinder works the same way. Let's do the probe sphere once. So again, you'll take some points away and simply pull away. So again, here is a sphere. Hold the probe against it. Take some points. Remember to go all the way around it, get a best fit. Okay. Pull away, then press that button underneath there. There's your sphere. Now let's talk about the big gun. This part has a wavy top on it right in here. So right in here on the part, that's very complicated. There's no way to do that without this command. In future videos, we'll also talk about probe lock plane. It can do that, but the probe loft is actually derived from our scanning module. So we're going to say probe loft. Now out of the box, it says how many cross sections you want. I'm going to leave it alone. You can pick reference planes. So if you pick this face, the cross sections will run this way. If you picked the other side over here, the planes would run this way. We're just going to leave it alone, let it figure it out. So by default, it's on 15. Tolerance, leave it alone. This is what's really nice. If you're going to build this loft has to be bigger than the bottom. If you didn't have this part of it, you have to extend it with Inventor. So I'm going to tell it to extend it like 40% and then leave the rest alone. So you simply take the device, hold the probe on the face. So if it's brand new, you might want to just go like this and hit the trigger to outline it. Once you get better, you can just drag this. So maybe you're just doing this for the first time. Just do like that to outline it. Now you can hold the button down. Make sure you keep the probe in contact. You don't want to lift. You'll throw off the mathematical algorithm. Go back and forth like you're coloring. Maybe let go of the trigger. Maybe you want to go this way. So you hold the trigger down and can let it continue to scan. You'll hear it go click, click, click. You just want to make sure you get it covered. Okay? That looks pretty good. You might even want to say over here, let's give a little bit more. This is where we just simply took some points. Then what you do for the compensation is you pull away. So pull up, then slide that little button to the right underneath there. That does your compensation. And it takes a few seconds to process. But imagine trying to build this without this command. It would be murder. So the goal is to show you like 90% of these for getting started. Once you go through this video, you'll then contact our support group and tell them you want to take some training. With the normal process. If you purchase DesignWorks Just Probing, you have 4 hours of training. If you purchased our unlimited module, you'd have 8 hours. It's probing and scanning. Most people will actually go through this first, they're getting started, then they'll email our support group and say, hey, here's a date and time I want to take training. And we do a couple hours just like we're doing this in a web module. We usually use Zoom. Most people can watch the video and do this part because it looks and feels so much like Autodesk Inventor. So this is going to build the cross sections for you. And it actually built your surface. It opens it back up. So there's your loft. It built it and extended it for you. So now, let's talk about inspection. Let's check this once. Well, let's do one more thing. Let's build the bottom. Let's go ahead and pick this face and start a sketch. Let's build the bottom of this once. Go to since we're sitting here with it in the mouse in our hand, we'll go DesignWorks line. And we'll go ahead and just build this. We'll create the lines around here to capture this. You only need 2 points for a line. We'll pull away. We'll do this side. Now here's a case. Let's talk about hooking the probe. This would be considered hooking the probe. Notice how the probe is actually pointing away from the part. Best practice is you want to hold it like this. Then pull away. Let's show you again. This is called hooking. The probe's not pointing towards the part, it's pointing away. You can trick the compensation. Okay, we'll just pull it away here. So there's our base. We guessed it, 40%. Let's see if we did it right. Let's go trim this. In this case, we're going to extend it. Okay, so we had to extend. Now let's see, was 40% enough? Looks like it was. It's because to extrude that up, the surface has to be bigger. If you didn't get that right, you get to get out of this and go to the 3D model and extend that surface. That's why we do it all inside. So now you can go to 3D model of Inventor, select extrude, and you can tell it up to that face. And if you want to, this can be hidden. This is this loft. So there you have your part. Let's go check it out once. So feature to probe validation. This has been added for our 2022 module. In the past, once you picked it, over in the DRO, you just get colors. Now you're going to see color graphics. So one thing you have to do is make sure you have the probe on the home position. It moves and you can't let you pick the faces. So you would actually just come over here and just pick these faces. It'll pick the whole surface. And then sometimes you do have to pick them out of the tree. So you do have to pick these from the tree. It doesn't want to pick them graphically for some reason. It's a Inventor thing the way it does. Most time you can use Control A. Inventor won't let you use Control A either. So you could hit the whole solid body if you wanted. Or just pick these extrude features. Hold down the Control key and then select these. If you don't hold the Control key, it won't get them all. So here you can see over here in the tree, it's selected these. And if you want the holes, you have to come over here to the holes and get the holes too. But again, you pick from on the tree. Now you would take the device if you just want a quick check, you can hold it on the top of it, okay? So let's talk about hooking the probe again. If you took the probe and you held it like this, where it's pointing at the up above it, or parallel, it won't give you the right measurement. You should point it like this. Notice how the difference changes. That's not being hooked. Before, it was up here being hooked. Now you simply can hold it around here if you want and visually see graphically what it's doing. Now, if you want to report, you would simply come up here and hold it on these, okay? Tap the button. It's going to take the data. We're running a video capture tool here, so sometimes it slows this down. These might be updating as fast as they should. So just hold this. Notice how it's showing green. On here, we don't suggest dragging. It'll put the balloons too tight. So just hold it for a second and move it. So you can just take points wherever you want. When you're done, you can press the button under the arm or hit create on the screen. So if this is the first time you've used it, you'll want to resize this. And then it'll stay modal. It doesn't know the size of your screen, so grab it, lower right corner or wherever corner you want, and select it. So this is showing you deviation. So you can see here it's apparent. I didn't pull away for my compensation on these are blue. What if you want to move these? Select the little A here. It turns it off from auto, and you can drag them. Now, if you need a full GD&T, you want to talk to the people at Hexagon, possibly about PCDMIS or their other tools for inspection. But if you're just doing them for an RE project and you just need basic inspection like this, it works fine. And you can actually turn this off. It's locked now. And you can check your part. F1 key, take your mouse, left click on the screen, hit F1. These are the hotkeys. So let's say you wanted to send this off to report with these views. The S key will allow you to save this, capture snapshot to report. S. You can turn it and have multiple views. Many as you want. If you want to adjust this heat map, you can do that over here by adjusting it with these increase, threshold, decrease. In this case, I like it. I'm going to hit the green checkbox. And here's one thing I would suggest out of the box. It's not on merge. Hit merge and then say create your report. Now you do need Excel to do this. Create report. You can close that. This will show your image sheets and everything you did. Slide this around, you'll see the full report. Or if you want just the data sheet, here's everything merged. If you want to unmerge, you just say unmerge it in the other window. So if you want to add some more features, you can. So you can come over here, let's say you want to work on another face. Pick a face, start a sketch. It's just like you work in Inventor every day. We'll push the button underneath the knob there to the right. DesignWorks menu pops up. I want a circle. Check the compensation. It's on whole. If you want it fixed, you can make it fixed. So again, I'm going to take some points. Press the button. Save it. In this case, I'm going to use DesignWorks to do an extrude there. Tap the trigger to get to the extrude tool. Hold it to the depth. Press a button. Pops up the tool for Inventor. And it's smart. It knows it's a cut. Say OK. If you want to do that big hole, pick a face, start a sketch. Again, push the button on the device to get to the circle tool. Maybe in this case you want it fixed. Say fixed. Now again, here's where you say hole or boss. These are holes. Come over here. Remember, best fit. Don't just take 3 points. Make sure you go all the way around it. You can overlap. Press that button on the device. And again, I want to cut this out. Tap the button underneath there. You wait a couple seconds and it goes into command. I tell it the depth I want. Press and hold that button to the right. Boom, you got it. And say OK. So there you have your training part for getting started. Our rule of thumb is if you work on this after 10 minutes, either call our office or go up to our website, designworks.com, has the numbers there, or email support group. Tell them you're having troubles, and they'll be glad to get back with you. So there you have it. You learned how to do your first probing part with DesignWorks for Inventor and Inventor. We appreciate your business and have a great day.